Burnout doesn't just make you tired, it makes you allergic to stillness and calm and peace. It rewires your nervous system to crave the very chaos that has been killing you. You're not tired. You're just leaking energy everywhere. Honestly, you've just been calling it normal. It's not normal. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly where your energy is disappearing, why burnout keeps coming back even when you rest, and how to rebuild the trust your nervous system has lost after years of survival mode. You're going to learn the difference between real healing and fake rest, how to stop racking up nervous system debt, and how to make actual deposits that move you out of burnout and into authority. Hello, friends. I'm Renae, in case you didn't know, and I'm really glad that you are here. This is the final episode in the Nervous System Economy mini-series, The Credit Rebuild. If you haven't watched episodes 1 and 2, pause and go back. Episode 1 breaks down the cost of doing nothing, what happens when you ignore your nervous system balance. Episode 2 uncovers the hidden fees, those tiny daily energy leaks that you don't notice until you're just completely wiped out. This is where it all just comes together, because there's a point after burnout where everything just goes quiet. And that silence feels more uncomfortable than the chaos ever did, because let's be honest, us high achievers are very addicted to the chaos. When you have lived in survival mode long enough, chaos is so addictive that calm just doesn't feel safe. It almost feels suspicious, like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop all of the time. That's what this episode is about. The rebuild. The actual process of rebuilding that trust with a body that you have dragged through years of overpromising and under resting. Not through hacks, not through motivation, but through consistency, safety, and evidence that you won't abandon yourself again. So let's dig in. So here's the thing that most people miss. Your nervous system runs on currency. Every thought, every emotion, every decision, it all costs something. And when you're constantly pushing, giving, managing, and holding it all together, you're spending faster than you're replenishing it. You know that low balance alert that you get from your bank? Your body also has one too. It doesn't just come as a notification, it shows up as brain fog, irritability, exhaustion that sleep just can't fix, or snapping at people that you care about for really absolutely no reason. Your body is saying, hey, you are out of funds. And I've said it before, burnout is not a sudden explosion. It's a slow leak, tiny withdrawals every single day. The mental load, the emotional labor, the pretending that you're fine, until finally your body just sends that bill. And I know exactly what that feels like, which is why I am so passionate about sharing this with you guys. And truthfully, I can think about one of the most pivotal moments where I realized how bad it had really gotten. It was at the height of my burnout. I was working easily 60 to 80 hours a week as a firefighter paramedic, really no sleep, absolutely no calm. I was running on caffeine, adrenaline, resentment. The world had started really opening back up after COVID, which meant that my band at the time was starting to really book solid again because people were starving for connection, for something that felt normal. And between the firehouse stress and a lot of leadership betrayal at the time, and also a guitarist who I considered a friend was acting like a total diva about things that he hadn't earned the right to demand at the time, I was just done. I was fried. So I did what most overworked people do. I tried to escape it. I packed up my dog. I drove to the mountains of New Hampshire. I rented this tiny Airstream Airbnb in the absolute middle of nowhere. There was no electricity, no service, no people, literally just me, the dog, quiet, and I was just going to hike and do whatever I possibly could to escape it. And I thought that silence would save me. But the second that it hit, it was deafening. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. My thoughts were screaming. It was like someone turned up the volume on every fear and failure I had buried for years. I could feel like pressure on my ears. The quiet I thought I wanted, it felt literally unbearable. I faced that trailer like a caged animal, and it was so small. I tried to breathe and journal, but the stillness just made me panic. I even brought my violin to try to play it in the mountains. And that's when it hit me. It wasn't just the burnout. I was literally afraid and allergic to the calm. I had spent so many long surviving nights in chaos that the peace felt like a threat. I lasted maybe 1 or 2 nights before I told the Airbnb host that I had to leave early. I drove home, remember thinking, like, who the hell can't handle quiet and peace like that? But that was my wake up call at that time. Burnout doesn't just make you tired, It makes you allergic to stillness and calm and peace. It rewires your nervous system to crave the very chaos that has been killing you. And that's what I now call micro leaks, the invisible spending that adds up over time. It's not the big moments that break you. It's those quiet costs you ignore until your body just finally shuts down. And that's the thing. Burnout doesn't just drain your energy, it changes your relationship with it. It's when the things that you used to use to help you decompress, they suddenly don't work. Or worse, they start causing you stress. They exacerbate it. Just like me in that peaceful getaway that I thought I was craving, that used to rejuvenate me. That is what I used to literally use to help me. Even my band at that time, that's something that filled me up. It became another drain. That's one of the biggest red flags that your nervous system needs an audit, is when the things that filled you up at the time now start to empty and drain you. So, what exactly is an energy audit? It's not just a self-care checklist. And it's also not cutting out toxic people or taking a bubble bath for self-care. An energy audit is your nervous system's version of reviewing your spending report without judgment and just honest curiosity. You ask yourself, where am I hemorrhaging energy without realizing it? What am I overinvesting in that gives me nothing back? And where am I pretending to be okay just to keep the peace? It's data, not drama, data. And when you start tracking your energy that way, without the personal aspect, removing the identity out of it, patterns start to jump at you. You realize the things that you thought were helpful are actually draining you. You notice how much of your time is spent carrying other people's stress, almost like it's a side hustle. You see how often you perform calm instead of actually feeling it, and that's where the real healing begins. Like I said, it's not in the hustle, it's not in doing more, but in finally seeing what your body's been trying to tell you this whole time. So let's go over the 3 biggest energy leaks that the majority of people just skirt right over, right under their nose. Leak number 1, some emotional overdrafts. These are the hidden costs of overcaring. Every time you say yes when you mean no, every time you shrink yourself to make someone else comfortable, every time you hold space for someone else but don't give yourself the same, you're overdrafting your emotional account. You think it's kindness, but your nervous system reads that as unsafe. Because real safety isn't about everyone liking you. It's about trusting yourself. If you can't trust yourself to protect your own energy, then your body is never going to fully relax. So you have to start by asking, where do I keep trying to earn peace instead of allowing it? That one question will tell you exactly where your leak is. So leak number 2, these mental subscriptions. You know those streaming services that you just forgot to cancel? We all have them. Your brain has them too. Those old worries, those unfinished projects, the arguments that you continue to replay in your head at 2 a.m. Each one renews automatically until you consciously unsubscribe to them. And some of those subscriptions have been running for years. For example, since I left college back in 2010, I drained myself for multiple decades with one constant leak, that nagging thought, I'm a failure because I never finished my degree. That belief was on autopilot in my nervous system. Every time something went wrong, a setback, a bad day, that thought renewed itself automatically. It might not have been a bad day. It could have just randomly popped up in my brain. See, you never finished it. You're not enough. That leak literally ran in my brain for multiple decades since 2010 until I finally closed that loop and finished my degree a few years ago. And I swear that relief was wild. I remember thinking, how much energy have I spent on this since 2010? If that was a bank account, I could have made a car payment. That's what a mental subscription looks like. You're paying rent in your head to thoughts that don't live there anymore. Start noticing where your mind goes when things go quiet. That's where your energy is being auto-charged. You don't have to unsubscribe from all of them overnight. That's unrealistic. Just cancel one this week, just one. Even freeing up that single subscription can shift how your entire body can feel, because your nervous system finally stops paying interest on old stories. So let's look at the final leak, leak number 3, physical withdrawals. This one's brutal because it's just so normalized. For example, just skipping meals, running on caffeine. This is my personal favorite. Treating exhaustion like a personality trait. You wouldn't drain your checking account every single day and expect it to still grow. Yet we do that with our bodies constantly. Your nervous system doesn't care about productivity. It cares about safety and healing and rejuvenation. And safety comes from restoration, not punishment. Instead of asking, am I doing enough? You need to start asking, do I feel restored? That one shift alone can change how your whole nervous system operates. So, how do you start your own energy audit? And this is going to be a little bit of a teaser to the workshop that I'm going to be doing. So, if this is something that does interest you, follow the link that I can post down below, and you can get some more information if you want to go deeper into this. But we can make this practical. For the next 3 days, I want you to track your energy like money. In the morning, I want you to track how do you feel waking up. In the midday, what interactions or tasks drain you? And then also on the contrast, which ones fill you? And then during the night, before you go to bed, do another reflection. What's left in your tank before you go to sleep? And then ask yourself, what was a withdrawal? And then what was a deposit? Don't fix anything. Just look at those numbers. That's it. Because awareness is regulation. When your body feels seen, it doesn't have to scream for attention anymore. So if you've been feeling like you're doing all of the right things, but still running on fumes, this is your sign to stop guessing and start auditing. Your body's been sending you these overdraft notices for a while now. This is your chance to finally read the fine print. And this workshop, the energy audit, is going to take you out of the awareness and into action. Because awareness is only going to get you so far. It is the first step, and it is very important. But you'll need a plan to start taking these practical steps. And that's what drives you out of the burnout. And even further than that, you'll need accountability. Because let's be real, change really does not stick without. So thanks for hanging out with me today. If this hit home, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment about the biggest energy leak that you have noticed in your life. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe because I'm dropping new episodes every Thursday. Take care of your energy. It is your most valuable currency.